icon. First it was polar vortex, then it was bombogenesis, then bomb cyclone. Now the new one is thunder snow. What the hell is thunder snow? What do I do during a thunder snow?
I don't know. What do you do during a thunder
snow
snow episode? And we got thunder maybe and snow in the forecast. Kind of crazy. How's your afternoon going? It's 106 on this Monday. We're going from 60 today to like 4 degrees tomorrow with a blizzard with some rain and maybe thunder in between.
You know, you two don't even need me today. All you're going to do is talk about the weather anyway.
Yeah, for like 6 minutes.
Yeah. I'll be back. I'm going to go.
We'll talk about it for like 6 minutes.
Go refresh my tea.
Oh, there goes a truck on the interstate.
We got what could end up being our largest storm of the season coming our way. In fact, the impact it's going to have.
Not saying much since the most snow we've gotten is like 2 inches in October.
Okay, I would just like to point out when I initially booked my travel plans and I asked Justin and he said nothing's going to happen till Wednesday.
It came a day early.
Funny.
Remember, there's a day fluctuation on the LRC either side. So.
I will be right in the midst of it, getting on a plane.
Yeah. When's your flight? Morning or afternoon?
In the afternoon.
Yeah,
so
you'll get out of here. You'll get out of here.
You'll get out of here at some point.
Full of confidence.
Are you connecting?
In Dallas.
Oh, it's beautiful in Dallas.
It's beautiful.
That's what I like to hear.
It's like 93 degrees today down there.
Perfect.
Ooh.
Just got to get there.
Wait, yeah. Yeah, Dallas. I think it's Dallas.
Oh, you guys are helpful.
Yeah, regardless, 80s, 90s, same thing.
Would you care to cover the weather for tomorrow before we have Snowmageddon?
We don't need to talk. Shh. They'll hear you, Bridgette.
We're not going to get
Where's my
obscene amount
rain,
of snow.
Dean?
Well, it's coming in the form of snow there, Parker.
Define obscene.
Obscene amount of snow would be 8 or more inches. We're not going to see that. But
you sure about that?
Yes, I'm sure about that. You want to lay some money on it?
I don't know. Probably not.
All right, then.
Not for us.
Not for
not for Fargo.
Yeah. But we are going to see some snow entering the area as we head towards tomorrow morning. And it's not the snow amounts, it's the wind. We're going to have winds out of the north gusting up to 45, which is going to produce blizzard conditions. There's no. Oh my God! Yeah. So, no blizzard warnings issued yet. That more than likely will change. Winter storm watches have been expanded from Fargo into northwest Minnesota. Winter weather advisories to our west. And again, more than likely, these are going to be upgraded before the afternoon is done. The timing on this, after a beautiful high today, around 60 or so, cold front hits after midnight. The precip in the FM area probably isn't going to start until after 3, 4 in the morning. And we're going to see conditions deteriorate quickly for that morning drive into work. So anytime after 6 a.m., that snow will start to increase. Winds will pick up, near zero visibility at times. So obviously blizzard or blizzard-like conditions through the morning with temperatures hanging around 10 above. Wind chills tomorrow morning about 20 below.
Brisk.
That sounds nice. And snow should wind down by lunchtime. So it's in and out of here pretty quick in the morning. It still stays breezy in the afternoon, so we'll still be dealing with blowing snow. But the worst part of this storm is going to be between about 6 a.m. and about lunchtime tomorrow. After that, conditions will slowly improve. And then we're dropping back below zero tomorrow night, and then 20s on Wednesday. But then by the end of the week, we're going to be in the 40s to near 50 by Friday. But then another potential storm
come on.
comes our way the following weekend.
Wait a minute. Let me get my calendar up.
Get out of here.
You're probably coming home that weekend, aren't you?
Are we talking about the 2nd, the 3rd?
Is that a Saturday, Sunday?
Uh-huh.
Probably Sunday, I could see.
Yeah, 3rd.
I hate you people.
Yeah, that's not my fault.
That's you don't travel. But
that's what you get.
Yep. Total snowfall in the FM area. What do you say, Justin? 2 to 4, right around there. Some higher amounts.
You asking me so that way I'm wrong?
Pretty much.
Yeah, let's go with 2 to 4.
2 to 4. So again, that doesn't sound like a lot.
1 to 4.
Yeah. Now, if we got an inch, the impacts between 1 inch and 3 inches makes a huge difference. It doesn't sound like it, but when you factor in 2 inches makes a big difference. When you factor in,
does it?
45-mile-an-hour winds, it sure does.
Yeah.
Okay.
I suppose.
I would also like to say there's something that makes a difference in there in the fact that it might not just be snow blowing around. corn leaves.
Oh.
But, you have some fields that are open that don't have any stubble on them and so forth.
Yep.
That could add to just debris in the air as well. Nobody meant for that to happen, but just simply due to those heavy winds, not any snow cover, the ground's not really froze on top.
Right.
That could indeed be the case.
Yes. Well, thankfully oh man, I want to say I'm going to do it. Good thing the dirt is wet. Otherwise, we'd have it blowing dirt around. Yeah, I did that on purpose.
You
people.
did. So for the soil warriors out there, they'll be calling.
Yeah.
My phone is going to light up now.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah. We got to get that thing sponsored. The more action we get on that phone, the
better.
The bigger sponsor we can get for your phone.
Absolutely. So
T-Mobile, are you listening?
I'm going to see if I can call in tomorrow to be a part of our show for just a segment tomorrow when we have our banker come in, because that is our Farm Finance Insiders with Starion Bank. But Thursday and Friday, well, Wednesday as well, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, you'll see me from Commodity Classic. And I have the opportunity to be in one of New Holland's brand new tractors. I believe it's the T9. And on Friday, I get to be in Horsch's new sprayer, the Lieb, which comes with a really cool European design.
And this is down in Houston,
I'll be in Houston.
where it's nice and warm.
Absolutely.
Houston.
Yep. It's supposed to be a little rainy and 68 on Thursday. I think I'll be fine.
Scathing.
Are you sure?
Don't they have cool meteorology things that you can go to in warm climates? Or wait, that's a hurricane. Never mind.
Yeah.
Let me clear that up for you.
Oh, man.
Oh, jeez.
See? Oh, I'm getting good at this.
Are.
Okay.
Yeah, I'd say.
All right.
All right, I think our 6 minutes are up.
So that's the weather. We don't have a weather warning of any sort at this point.
Winter storm
Winter
watch.
storm watch.
Yeah,
But that'll be upgraded to a warning, whether it be winter storm or blizzard, one or the other.
Yeah,
So
it'll be one
just
or another.
Tomorrow morning, stay
Looking
home. If you can
forward
work,
to
if you can work from home tomorrow, probably be a good idea.
You don't say.
Yeah.
Oh,
just,
you're coming in.
I don't know about that.
You're-
You just said work from home if you can.
Everybody but you. We're gonna need you here.
Darn it. Come on.
Let's hit some ag topics, Bridget.
I think we could do that. All
right.
right. So there's a few little things going on here. One of them is there is an animal activist group that has a new tactic that we could all be aware of.
Oh boy.
Because I will debunk these anytime I get the chance. And that is a group that they have paired with a artist. His name is Praxis. And he is doing visual murals to talk about the dairy industry, because he believes that the dairy industry is nefarious and they do horrible things,
Yeah.
like provide milk for those who need it.
Shame on them.
Does he know these cows have water beds, for crying out loud?
I don't think they're familiar with how dairy cows are actually pampered and raised.
Okay.
No.
Do you think
But-
they know it's uncomfortable for the cow to not be milked?
Nope, they don't know that, nor that the cow would get an infection like mastitis if
Yeah,
the cow
then
doesn't get
probably
milked.
die.
Right, that's a problem.
Yeah.
So these campaigns are going to be billboards going around New York City, Los Angeles, Denver, all the places where farm folks hang out on a regular basis in order to share that information. So it's good to know that this was sent out as a press release from the police, and there's a lot of farm journalists who are responding back to it and saying, no, that's not actually the case. Dairy animals, as well as any livestock, are extremely well taken care of in farm country. And so this tactic that they're using is trying to be eye-catching.
Who pays for this?
The activist groups have huge amounts of money. Even when you look at,
donated from?
do you know all those little Humane Society commercials that you see, or the Sarah McLachlan?
ASPCA?
Yeah. ASPCA has somewhere in the neighborhood of $90 million in offshore accounts. If you're just there for the benefit of the animals, why do you need to keep it in offshore accounts?
You don't.
No.
There are reasons.
So if you want to sponsor a shelter, do that locally. Let's go to Homeward Bound, the shelter here in Fargo, and support them with cash, dog food, supplies that they can use. But don't fall for it when you hear Sarah McLachlan singing during your Sunday night supper, because she's just a paid shill. Look at me get all feisty. And
I like it.
we should not be letting them do that.
So the APSCA, LMNOPQRS,
That organization.
so they fund. They should know better on how dairy works and how the farms work. And
They're
no,
in it for the money.
It's all about the money, Dean.
man.
All about the money. Humane Society is
Never,
actually the same. Humane Society and ASPC and however else we're going to add in there. They have literally told farm groups that their goal is to eliminate animal agriculture.
Yeah, and then how are we supposed to eat?
Oh, can't you have a plant? Shouldn't you be able to farm on the patio of your apartment?
Wow.
Right.
Yeah, but I
Are
can't
people
turn
that's-
that into good spaghetti sauce. Well, I can, but Dean can't.
Right.
Are people that They are that stupid, aren't they?
Stupid's an unfair term. I would
Moronic?
say, I think people just don't know.
Whoa.
Let's face it. There's a lot of things you guys have learned since we've had these discussions,
This is true.
right? So
you have a point.
yeah.
You have a point.
So it's all about learning, that learning curve, and who has the
And
bigger voice.
Don't believe everything you read on social media.
Shocking. Yes. That's very, very true.
man.
You got to distinguish between the good and the bad.
Yes.
Well, no, I noticed. So you said they have these up in the cities.
Yes, they're not doing them here in Fargo locally.
I wonder why they're
I
not
am
out in the country
stunned.
areas. Wow.
But you know what they will do in states like ours is come in during our legislative years and try to introduce legislation that is under the guise of property ownership, animal welfare, et cetera. But what they really are trying to do is make it more restrictive for hunting and farming.
Right. Well, I think our legislators, at least up here, now on the other side of the river, might not be the case.
Well,
but at this side of the river, I think our legislators are a little smarter than that. I
they
would think.
can be, but remember, if the case is presented to you in a way that appeals to your emotions, you have to be able to suss that out.
Do research on it, people. Do
Absolutely.
research
Let's
on
work.
it.
I'm going to look at the picture. I'm not even going to read the article. I'm just going to look at the picture.
I will draw you pictures later to help.
That's all I care about is what the picture is. And if it's eye-catching
it.
enough, then maybe I'll click on it.
And that's why there's a mural going up by this artist, Praxis, as they try to catch people's attention.
Yeah, spray painting cows.
That would be worse on the cow. I mean,
Yeah.
it grows out, right? It's like dyeing your hair, but it's maybe not the greatest idea. It'll rub off on their water beds.
Yeah.
Okay, we have a guest today. He's probably in queue thinking, what in the world? But all of our guests think that. And then
Yeah.
they get on here with us, and it's a good time had by all. We're going to be joined by Doug Greenway, director of the world's only corn palace, Mitchell, South Dakota.
All right.
Think of it as the palace that corn built.
Yeah.
I don't get a rim shot for that?
I didn't get it, so
I'll explain it later.
nope. Still not getting it.
Fine. I'll explain it. I'll explain it while the commercials run. But we will be joined by Doug here in just a few minutes so we can talk about the Corn Palace. Does it really have corn on the walls? We'll find out. Be right back.
Mixed action in livestock markets as we work through afternoon trade. You're listening to the American Ag Network. of Jesse Allen with this market update. Also, take a look at what's happening here in the livestock trade as we're wrapping up our session on this Monday. Ended up here with a fairly mixed trading session. We were down sharply in the cattle market initially as we opened things up Monday after we got that cattle on feed report that was somewhat negative on Friday afternoon after the close. So initial reaction to that, but the cattle market kind of snapping back here to mixed action. A little bit of pressure still in front month feeders, but overall looking like a better close than how the trade started on Monday. Hogs as well, kind of a mixed tone in the hog market working through our session. Lean hog index is up 32, 79.10. Feeder cattle index up 19 at 244.68. Hog prices and trends in Dorchester, Wisconsin, Garnerville, Iowa, both $5 higher with barrels and gilts at 55 in both locations. Meantime, not a lot of activity in cattle country. New show lists appear to be mixed, higher in Kansas and Nebraska, Colorado, but lower in Texas. Beef cutouts are higher at midday. Choice up $1.45, 302.06, with select up $1.81 at 288.12 per hundredweight here this hour. So overall, just kind of that mixed tone here in the livestock trade. We'll see what happens. We do have a delayed cold storage report. It's supposed to be out Friday afternoon. It will now be released here later on Monday afternoon. You're listening to the American Ag Network.
Wheat growers of the North, it's time to push performance to answer the call of Westbred wheat. With regionally proven varieties like WB 9590 and WB 9479 with high protein, yield potential, and standability. Trust Westbred wheat to help you get the most out of every acre. Now's the time. Boldly grow. Seize the season with Westbred wheat. Performance may vary. Read and follow pesticide label directions, grain marketing, and other stewardship practices.
When it comes to cereal disease protection, Prosaro Pro 400 SC fungicide from Bayer makes all the difference. With 3 effective active ingredients for overlapping control of foliar and head diseases and a flexible application window for head scab, it's formulated to lower DON, protect yield potential, and promote superior grain quality. Prosaro Pro, the future of plant health, starts here. Visit prosaropro.com to learn more. Always read and follow grain marketing and all other stewardship practices and pesticide label directions.
As we look at some of the numbers ahead of the close, February live cattle up 47, 186.07. April up 37, 188.27. Feeder cattle for March down 150, 253.07. April hogs down to 87, 86.32. May hogs down 22 at 90.62. This is the American Ag Network. I'm Jesse Allen reporting.
Weather and Ag in Focus on WDAY Radio.
That's all the animals looking for a place to hide with Snowmageddon 2024 coming tomorrow. Maybe you are looking for a change of pace. Check out mortonbuildings.com/careers. They are looking to hire where it's not just a job, it is a career. They are 100% employee owned. So no matter what you're looking for, they might just have a place for you. You can win quarterly bonuses, trips to Jamaica, on-the-job training, room to advance. So go see them at mortonbuildings.com/careers. You know, every time we talk about something like that, I realize how much more opportunities out there, boys. We can have our third and fourth jobs now.
Mm-hmm. On to bigger and better things, you're saying, huh?
You just never know what we might be able to do.
Larger market?
Never know. Well, maybe we have to take a little field trip down to Mitchell, South Dakota, where we're headed today with our guest. That is Doug Greenway. He is the director of the world's only corn palace. And we were talking about this before Doug came on. None of us have been to the corn palace.
Negative.
Ooh, sounds like we're going to have to rectify that.
Yes.
Yikes. Doug, it is so nice to have you join us today. Tell us about your job there and more about the corn palace.
Good afternoon, Bridgette. I just want to check, are you able to hear me okay?
Yes, sir.
Perfect. And you've got, I'm actually feeling kind of sad. Really sad now because none of you have been to the Corn Palace. So that makes me sad. But I was sad before because you get all that beautiful snow up there tomorrow, and we don't.
You and Justin loving the snow. I see
there
it.
We go.
Well, does it help I drove by?
In the world's only. And we hope we can answer some of your questions for your listeners today.
Well, I hope you answer lots. I've only ever been able to drive by, so there's going to be plenty here. Give us a little history and background of the Corn Palace. How did it start? Whose idea was it to get this thing rolling, and does it really have corn on it?
Sure. Well, yes, it absolutely has corn on it. So our Corn Palace that's in Mitchell, actually, we're in our third Corn Palace here. The first one was in 1892, and Mitchell was in a competition at that time to maybe be the state capital. So our city leaders were working really hard because Yankton was the first state capital, and they were going to move it. And Pierre was on there, and Mitchell was on there, and our city leaders were trying to lobby for that. And so at the same time, they were trying to lure people to the Midwest to settle here. The railroads had come through, and these grain palaces had popped up around the country, and certainly the Midwest. One being in Sioux City, for example, a beautiful building covered with corn. Plankington, South Dakota, a little town just west of us, 30 miles, had a grain palace. And Mitchell said, if Plankington can have one, we need to have one. So they built one and opened it in 1892. It is a temporary structure. And it was built to lure people to our town. And we were lucky enough to have a railroad person by the name of Alexander Mitchell decide to put the depot, or a railroad depot here in Mitchell. So that is why we are called Mitchell. If he wouldn't have done that, who knows what would have happened. We might have been smaller than Plankington, South Dakota, but we got the depot. Mitchell grew. We put the Corn Palace here. It was so popular, and of course, at the time, it was built to attract people to the Midwest, so that they knew that we could raise crops here, so plentiful we could decorate buildings with them. And as of today, this is the only one that's still in existence. Mitchell built their second Corn Palace in 1907, and as soon as they moved into it, they realized it's already too small, like sometimes happens, and they immediately started planning for our current building, which we're in today. It was opened in 1921, so we're at 103 years this year. And as of right now, we're bringing in over 400,000 visitors a year to the Corn Palace to see our history. Obviously, our corn murals is what draws folks here. And then we have corn murals on the inside, and we do not change those out every year, but the ones on the outside, we do. And if And if your listeners can look up cornpalace.com on their internet, they will see the outside of the Corn Palace. We have a corn cam there, and they can see exactly what we're talking about.
Wow. You said 400,000, right, Doug?
Visitors, right?
400,000 visitors. Now,
yep. And roughly that is our tourist season, which runs from Memorial Weekend till about Labor Day, is about 300,000, and then we have another 100,000 plus here for events. For example, we're just finishing we're the civic arena for the town. Our local school, the Mitchell Colonels, mascots the Colonels because of the Corn Palace. So they play all of their basketball games here. Our local universities, Dakota Wesleyan University, plays basketball here, plus all of these invitational and classic tournaments. So we have 221 basketball games scheduled in the Corn Palace this winter. We started October 28th with a men's college game, and we will be done next Tuesday with some regional, what they call SODAC 16 games, state qualifiers. So, that's what we do in the winter down here is we get lots of folks to watch basketball, and that extra 100,000 is for, we do a bull riding event, we do banquets, we do the grand march for graduation. We have the largest pheasant banquet in the country here. Pheasants Forever banquet. Yep.
Jeez. A couple of questions, Doug. I dated a gal from Mitchell. She was a little corny.
Oh,
but
please.
What's the seating? What's the seating capacity there? Two questions. What's the seating capacity? And B, step us through. If we were to come down there and take a tour of the Corn Palace, what would that tour entail?
Sure. So capacity-wise for basketball, where we leave the floor open, we can seat 3,000. So we have just under 1,800 soft, what we would call raised theater-style seats. And then we have bleacher seating on the ends and on the stage. For concerts, where we put chairs on the floor, but clear the stage for a performance, we can seat 3,200 people.
Wow.
If in the summertime, we actually our customer, if you will, our client is our Chamber of Commerce Tourism Division, and they rent the Corn Palace and turn into a giant gift shop. And they start tours at 9 a.m. every day, and every 45 minutes they're going to give tours to folks that want to. So, bus loads of people and tourists come in, and of course we typically start in our lobby. And there's a history panel, or panels, I should say, along our one wall that talks about what I just told you. This is the third Corn Palace, why they were built, what the reason was for them. And then it goes on to show lots of pictures of what they look like. We didn't always have the onion domes on the Corn Palaces. Originally, they were just geometric murals and then a flat roof. And then they added the onion domes to add that unique structure to make it look like a palace. And then it moves on to some of the entertainers that have been here. I mean, back in the day, so you go back into the 1920s and 30s, people were coming from thousands of miles away to the city of Mitchell to the Corn Palace. It was one of the largest arenas and venues in the region. We're talking multiple states. From Minneapolis to Denver, there was nothing like this anywhere else. And so they were coming from all over via railroad to take in shows. And of course, the biggest event was the Corn Palace Festival and the celebration of harvest in the fall. And then, so we show a video. We have a 17 or 18 minute video of the history of the Corn Palace. We show our visitors. On the inside, we've got, really there's 9 giant murals, but within them, there are some smaller murals that tell a story. 6 of them are original Oscar Howe murals. Oscar Howe, who happens to be one of our famous South Dakotans, which is our theme this year, and I'll talk more about that later. 6 of them are his. They were put up in the 80s on the inside. And then above the stage, we have really 13 murals. And in 1994, our governor requested a reconciliation with the tribes in South Dakota. So we did a themed mural that shows the bringing together the tribes of the state and ending. And it's pretty unique. I should have sent some images up you could display, but basically it tells a story of the tribes in South Dakota coming together with the European settlers that came to the Midwest. And then the tour would move outside, and we look at our outside murals, which we change every year. We start in June, replacing the straws and the grains on the outside, and then the mural theme is chosen, of course, for the year. And then when the corn is harvested, usually starting the end of August, around Labor Day, the corn will come in, and then our decorators will apply the new stencil or background, and then the corn is picked, delivered. Every ear has to be cut off on the ends and then split in half, and then nailed to the side of the building in what we would consider like a paint by number operation.
Oh, Doug,
and,
we're going to have so many more questions about that, because I just want to know, how volunteers do this, etc. But hold on, it is bottom of the hour. It is 1:31 in the afternoon. We have just a little bit of catch up with some local news, and then we're going to continue. So we want to hear the continuation of our tour.
Perfect. Write those questions down.
We will, and folks can reach us on our phone line, Red Wing Shoes phone line, 701-293-9000. Be right back.
The great outdoors awaits you as Happy Harry's presents the Sportsman Show, February 29th through March 3rd at the Fargo Dome. With hundreds of resorts and lodges on hand, you can plan your vacation right at the show. See fishing boats, pontoons, campers, RVs, the best brands at the best prices. There's live trout fishing, free fishing seminars, and Pewana Jim's Wildlife Show. It's the Sportsman Show, February 29th through March 3rd at the Fargo Dome. Show information at fargosportshow.com, a Sonenko production.
Theraldson Ethanol invites you to trade in your job for a career. Just west of Castleton sits one of the nation's largest ethanol facilities, a 170 million gallon per year ethanol plant. Come join a work family of dedicated team members helping North Dakota lead the energy revolution. Pay starting at $75,000 to $80,000 per year, plus benefits, bonuses, incentives, and more. If your job is just a job, trade it in for a career at Theraldson Ethanol. Apply online right now at theraldsonethanol.com.
Good afternoon, I'm Tom Tucker, WDAY News First. North Dakota's Secretary of State says a proposed ballot initiative will make voting less secure if passed. Michael Howe is speaking against the Election Integrity Act. He says it would prohibit early voting and electronic ballot counting and eliminate the use of voting machines. Howe says the changes would increase the chance for human error and increase the time needed to count ballots. 1 in 4 new business applications filed in North Dakota in 2023 were filed in Cass County.
The top businesses, our top business types that we're seeing are service-based businesses, healthcare businesses, retail trade, which may be a brick and mortar, it may be online.
Paul Smith is the Fargo Center Director for the North Dakota Small Business Development Center. He says there were 2,200 new business applications filed in Cass County last year. The Rochester Fire Department will hold a public memorial for Burnsville firefighter Adam Finseth tomorrow night. Finseth was killed along with 2 police officers February 18th while responding to a domestic disturbance in Burnsville. Finseth is a Rochester native and a graduate of John Marshall High School. Tom Tucker, WDAY, and WDAYRadioNow.com.
Thanks for making WDAY Radio your new number 1 with the news that matters to you.
I'm Tom Tucker, WDAY Radio News.
Accurate weather forecasts.
Today we're going to go down in the record book, calling for a high of 50.
And personalities that you can call friends.
Tony! That would not be a good thing. No.
We're proud to serve the Fargo-Moorhead Metro and the region beyond. AM 970 and 93.1. We are WDAY Radio.
You can always count on Miller High Life, the champagne of beers. Always crisp, always easy drinking, always just right. The perfect balance of flavor and refreshment since 1903. Welcome to the High Life. 2019 Miller Brewing Company, Milwaukee, Wisconsin. Celebrate responsibly.
This is Weather and Ag in Focus with Bridgette Readel, Justin Storm, and Dean Wysocki.
And welcome back to Weather and Ag in Focus, 1:35 in the afternoon. I want to thank everybody for tuning in this afternoon. Our special guest today is Doug Greenway. He is the director of the one and only Corn Palace in Mitchell, South Dakota. So before we went to break, Doug, you were talking about how they after the corn is harvested and you're bringing in the corn and you're actually putting this on the walls. Is that correct?
Correct. That's outside the building. So we actually have 9 murals that cover the building, plus some. We have a marquee in front that we cover. Again, if you check out our webcam, you could that does mean something if you kind of see it, like, oh, how big are these? There's and we have a theme every year, I have a board that picks the theme. And what's on there currently, our 2024 theme are famous South Dakotans, which a number of people will recognize some of them, but our job is to educate people that come to see us about who these are. We have a local basketball player, Mike Miller from Mitchell. He came from Mitchell, played his high school ball here, and a 17-year NBA career. We have Oscar Howe. We have a guy you might have heard of from the Price is Right. Is got the big wheel on there. Becky Hammond. We have former Governor Joe Foss. We've got Laura Ingalls Wilder. We've got Wild Bill Hickok, and we got an astronaut, Charles Guimar.
Wow.
So when you're doing those outside murals, you were mentioning that you're taking like literally the whole cob, cutting the top and bottom off, cutting it in half to affix it to the wall. What holds everything up? Is there a whole lot of sticky tape at the end of this when you're done? And do you use other grains besides corn on the Corn Palace?
So we use really, for the most part, 3 products. There's a kind of a brown contrasting looking a grain, but it's actually not a grain. We used to use Milo, which you'd be familiar with up there.
Yep.
But we actually use something called sourdock now. It's actually a lowland, wetland weed, if you will, that's free to us. The Milo caused some grief for us because the birds eat it like crazy, and then it's like little BBs on the sidewalk, and it literally becomes a hazard. So they moved to this sourdock or curly dock, some farmers would call it.
Yep.
But we pick the male plants have a large seed head on it, maybe 18 inches tall on the really good ones, and bushy, and it's bright green. We pick it in June and cut it, twist it, tie it into shapes, and make decorations out of it. And then it dries to this bright red, burnt brown, if you will, burnt red color. And then we use wheat straw because it's a lot tougher than, rye straw. It's tougher than wheat or oat straw. So we use rye straw. And of course, it's very plentiful when it grows so tall. And we have what they call brooms or flats. And we tie the straw. If it's a broom, it's kind of think of an old style Laura Ingalls Wilder broom. You would have straws sticking out. The flats are tied real tightly and cut to length. And then both of those are nailed or stapled to plywood. So there's plywood underneath this whole thing, and we nail right into it. And then, of course, the corn, as I said, is split. We have 12 colors plus yellow corn or field corn. So 12 different colors have been developed over the years. So lots of reds and browns and varieties. But we've got calico, we've got green, we've got black corn. If you look at the Corn Palace, anything that's outlined, that's actually outlined in black corn.
So,
and as I mentioned, we cut the ends off to square it up, split it so it's flat, and then our hangers, corn hangers, will put it onto the shape of the mural to make the pictures.
When you're doing this, how long does it take to do the outside of the building? Because you talk about starting in the fall at a harvest time frame. Snow can happen a little early. Can you get this done in a few weeks?
Oh gosh, no. I mentioned we start in June, and we'll typically hire part-time or summer help, high school and college students, and they'll tear off the old straw and the sourdock. We'll go pick new sourdock, and we already know what the theme is. So we start putting the sourdock up first, and then of course the straw will become available in July when they harvest the rye, and then we put the straw up, and then when the corn comes in. So we lose most of our crew when they go back to school in mid-August. End of August for school. So then we hire what we call corn hangers, because all that's really left is to tear off the old corn and put on the new. And I say only, but the tearing off is a lot of work. Those big murals are 60 feet across and 40 feet tall in the front of the building.
Those are. And Jacob, can you pull that up off their website? That is pretty amazing. All that work that gets put into that.
Yeah, he's got it on the.
Yeah, they're huge. I actually have one of our decorators, hangers, listening on the call today. He's working as an intern at a local community college. So Sage does this, and we will put and split about 400,000 ears of corn, so that anywhere from 250 to 500 ears of corn, and then we split them and nail them, about 4 nails in each ear. So just think about, and then it all has to get torn off. So we tear off 1 or 2 murals, and then we'll build the new ones. Then we'll tear off another 1 or 2 and build the new ones. And ideally, we'd like to be done before Thanksgiving. But the reality is staffing. We literally had 3 people working this fall, and with beautiful weather, and we had a great corn crop down here. The ears were nice, full-length ears. And we are just finishing our last mural. Now that's extreme. We would normally be done mid-December at the latest, but here we are, end of February, and we're finishing up Loring Goes Wilder. She'll be all done this week.
I really love that you talked about there used to be flat tops on the roof, and now you call it an onion top because corn, onions. I'm waiting for somebody to tell me there's some butter description I can add in here, and it's a whole side dish at this point.
Well, I think the intent was like the Russian onion domes that they had on their palaces.
Yes.
So at the time, that's these onion domes were put on in the late 20s on this building, and I think there was some heritage people moving here, and there was some inspiration for the onion domes.
Oh, this is so cool. Like you said, I didn't even realize there were more than one corn palace at some point in time.
Right.
And there's just the one remaining. One of the events that we have talked about here just a few weeks ago that was held at the Corn Palace, I believe, was the National Toy Tractor Pull for Kids. Sounds like that's a pretty big draw. And do you host that event every year?
And I don't know the history of that. I do know that they had the state kids. They are toys, but it's called Kids Pedal Pull.
Yes.
And they're small tractors. If you go to any county fair up in North Dakota or the Midwest, these are very popular. And so age groups from 4 or 5 up to age 12, and they pedal the tractors and competing, and if it's a sanctioned meet, they can qualify for state. We got the state meet about 15 years ago when it was 105 degrees on Labor Day, and they were having it at the state fair in Huron, and it was so hot people were fainting, and our director at the time said, we could do this inside. We have air conditioning. And that's how it got moved from the state fair of South Dakota to the Corn Palace, and we've had it ever since. And we're fortunate that a couple of the board members on the National Kids Pedal Pull board are from South Dakota, and they did such a nice job with the state meet. They brought the national meet here. I should pull it up. I believe we had 17 states here, 550 pullers, and about 2,500 spectators. The state pull is on Labor Day, and then the national pull is the third week of September, I guess.
It is awesome, and kids just come in. This is not like they have sponsors; they don't get cash prizes. They just get to do it for the bragging rights and a pull like
just
that.
some trophies, but it's one of our funnest events. That Grandpa and Grandma come. They've got team shirts, and as you can imagine, most of these are farm kids, and we sell great concessions and the pictures they take, and it's a great fit. I mean, the Corn Palace is all about ag, which obviously we appreciate you checking in on us because I know that's what you do up there, and celebrate ag. We're surrounded by ag is king here in South Dakota too. And we celebrate ag, and what better way than with the Kids Pedal Pull?
Oh, no kidding. And all of the things that we can do, like you said, that tie right into agriculture. When those kids do that pedal pull, they have a weighted sled behind them. And the further they pull, the more the sled, more weight comes down on them. Do you know what their maximum weight is? I'm sure it ranges by age group. But any idea what they may have to do? The weight that they pull on the sled.
Yeah. It's actually over 100 pounds that they start pulling, and then it goes up at an angle, and of course then puts more weight on the tractor and becomes harder to pull.
Yeah.
It's exactly like a regular tractor pull you see at the fair with the high-powered tractors or farm tractors, but same concept. The weight moves up the sled, and it gets heavier, and the friction on the carpet becomes more, and then it stops them. A full pull is 30 feet, and we have several of those. And then what they do is they just keep adding weight until they no longer get a full pull, and it's all based on inches. There's a little measuring device on the sled, and we run through this event in about 4 hours. So it's very fast moving.
See, they need
we run 2 tractors at the same time, going opposite directions on the and basically think of a basketball floor,
right?
And we cover it with there's a carpet they put down, and the state association and national associations of the pedal pulls run that for us.
You need an adult version of this. This could be a fun weekend.
Well, as pedals, perhaps, but adults, I'm putting a message out in our messaging to each other of what real the full size tractors looks like.
Yeah.
Nobody's pedaling those.
No.
They're running diesel and gas power.
Sure.
But for you and I, we're gonna need more leg days in our lives to do this.
These tractors, keep in mind, if you haven't been to the middle school lately, there's some 12-year-olds that are 6'2", 175 pounds, and believe me, they can pedal like crazy, and they have to put a lot of weight on there to get them slowed down.
Oh, this is so much fun! You've made the idea of coming down to Mitchell, South Dakota, to see the Corn Palace way better than we were anticipating, and we had no idea there would be so many basketball games.
And if you're heading west, you could stop at the Corn Palace before you're heading out to the Black Hills,
Wall Drug,
right?
Okay, someone in our live stream made a mention of wrestling. You host wrestling there as well, Doug?
Right. In fact, 2 weeks on the 9th, we have the what we call AAU Youth Regional Wrestling. We used to host the state youth wrestling event, but it just got too big. I mean, they get over 4,000 people for that now, and we can hold it. So we have a regional, but it's one of our biggest events. We'll have over 500 wrestlers, again, over 2,000 spectators for that as well. It is by far our biggest concession event of the year, bigger than the pedal pull. And that's March 9th, and those kids, of course, qualify to go to the state. But so we wrestle. We've had high school wrestling here. Last fall, we did our college kicked off their wrestling season with an outdoor practice. We have a plaza that adjoins the Corn Palace. It's a beautiful outdoor space with a really nice stage, and they did their outdoor practice there to kick off their wrestling season. So bull riding, wrestling, basketball, volleyball, banquets, and of course pedal pulls.
This has been so much fun. Doug, as we wrap up here, just the last moment or so, how can people find you? I managed to find you just on the internet, but how would you suggest other folks do that as well?
Sure. Well, obviously we still have printed publications, and people can download that off our website. But cornpalace.com shows lots of pictures. There's pictures there of all the old Corn Palaces. There's a live stream of the front of it, of what's going on outside in the front of the building. Of course, we're right just an hour west of Sioux Falls, right along I-90, and we do catch those visitors traveling east and west in large numbers. And we welcome any and all to the Corn Palace, and our international visitors stop in too, because it's one of a kind.
More so than we ever knew. So
that's great.
Thank you, Doug, for joining us today. We greatly appreciate the time. Speaking of the time, it is just about 1:48 in the afternoon. We'll be right back.
Winter is here. It's cold and it's icy. Is your vehicle ready? Hi, I'm Matthew Carlson, owner of Fix It Forward Auto Care. From new all-weather tires designed for slippery roads to quality parts and fresh fluids made to endure those frigid temps, our team will have you driving with confidence. Call, schedule online, or stop by today at one of our 4 convenient locations. Fix It Forward Auto Care, the name you trust for car repair.
Fix It Forward Auto Care.
Attention farmers! Are unexpected breakdowns leaving you stranded in the field? Don't let downtime hinder your harvest. Advanced Diesel Repair is your trusted partner in getting you back in action fast. Their technicians specialize in swift diagnostics and top-notch repairs, ensuring your diesel equipment is up and running in no time. With Advanced Diesel Repair, you can count on reliable service and minimal disruptions to your farming operation. Advanced Diesel Repair, conveniently located off the I-94 Wild Rice exit and online at adrofhorace.com.
Do you suffer from stiff, achy, chronic knee pain? Have you been told you have arthritis? Is knee pain keeping you from enjoying your favorite hobbies? If so, the next 60 seconds could change your life. Please listen carefully. If we find you are a candidate for our unique approach, we will do a trial treatment, and day one you will know without a doubt if we can help you. Pick up the phone right now and call 701-502-6200. And best of all, we may be able to reduce and even eliminate your knee pain without pills, shots, or surgery. Due to limited capacity, you must call now at 701-502-6200. Hurry, Call now to find out if you qualify for our program that is changing lives and helping people save time, money, and agony. Call now 701-502-6200. You have nothing to lose, so call right now.
At Morton Buildings, they're different. From the painted red gable trim to their desire to provide a better quality and better looking building. Even their employees are different. From the construction crews to the sales consultants and plant employees, no matter who a customer interacts with, they can rest assured they're speaking with a proud owner of Morton Buildings who wants to make sure that the customer is satisfied and happy. Ready to be different? Visit mortonbuildings.com/careers today.
It's time for the Dakotas to be heard, to stand behind new markets for our ag and energy products. I'm Scott Hillen for Friends of Ag and Energy, and you're invited to join this conversation. Go to agenergyfriends.com, agenergyfriends.com. Sign the petition. Stand up for solutions to take on a green, radical, woke agenda. Our ag and energy markets depend on it, and your bottom line does too. For all of North and South Dakota, get the facts. Go to agenergyfriends.com, agenergyfriends.com.
Paid for by Friends of Ag and Energy.
Asante came to TurboTax after graduating from culinary school and landing a job in the hottest kitchen in town.
My hands are full all day, every day. I love it.
Asante, as your TurboTax expert, I'll make your moves count, guaranteeing 100% accurate filing and your maximum refund. Sound good?
Yes, expert!
Switch to Intuit TurboTax and make your moves count. See guarantee details at turbotax.com/guarantees. Experts only available with TurboTax Live.
Weather and Ag in Focus on WDAY Radio.
One more for good measure. There you go. Welcome back to the program. It's 1:52 on this Monday afternoon, and well, we're gonna get a little weather whiplash over the next I don't know, Dean, what would you say, like 12 hours?
Yeah, you're gonna need to see you might need to see a chiropractor after this forecast.
About 16 hours from now, you're gonna be saying, hey, wasn't it like 60 degrees yesterday?
Wasn't I just out on the bike on the trails yesterday?
This 25 below crap wind chills.
Hey, when you said that out on the trail yesterday,
huh?
I had a dream
When did
last
we say
night.
Trails?
You said I had the bike out on the trail yesterday.
Oh, just I thought you were talking about earlier in the show.
No, just right here.
Okay, yeah, carry on.
Okay, so I had a dream. I woke up this morning, and in my dream, we were doing a radio show, like we were doing a live somewhere with an audience.
Like we do real life.
Right, but except we had like a big audience. We were in a large room.
We have a big audience.
And there was somebody else with us, okay? So there were like four of us. But people kept asking us questions because the audience was like right here in front of us.
Sure.
And they kept asking us questions. And then we all got distracted and kind of went our own ways and sort of forgot we were doing a radio show. And poor Jacob in the control room was like, where did they all go? And I remember calling Justin on my phone saying, I forgot we were doing radio. Where are you? And he goes, I'm out walking on the bike trail. I got a beer. I'll see you later. So I don't know if that's really what's going to happen this week, but anything's possible.
What did you eat before you went to bed last night?
Smoked salmon.
I was just going to say, no, what
was that smoked with? What was that smoked with? That's what I want to know.
Yeah, so we were in the middle of a radio show, forgot we were doing a show, which is possible, and we were doing a live somewhere, so the big audience was right in front of us, and they apparently thought that was fine. So there you go.
You know, that's not too far off the truth, because there's a lot of times where me and Dean are back in the studio, or we're doing something back there in one of the offices, and oh, hey, we have a radio show that starts in a minute and a half.
Right, we gotta go.
We gotta go.
Yeah, I just thought I'd share that with you guys. That was my insight for today.
Interesting dreams.
It's a I think that's very good.
Actually, the killer part was that Justin was voluntarily on a bike trail walking by himself.
I had a beer. Come on.
He did have a beer in his hand.
He did.
So that is
and
feasible.
we are approximately 4 hours from beer o'clock right now. So
hey, no barley, no beer. Thank you, North Dakota Barley Growers.
Oh, wheat too. There's some great wheat beers out there.
There are. Happy to help. So, you want to do the weather?
Yeah, let's do it.
I mean,
we should run that down.
Quick,
People are worried.
We've got
here's your weather for you.
Yeah. it's tomorrow's going to be a big difference from today. So especially your morning commute. Your morning commute tomorrow is going to be a mess. Almost a guarantee. For the rest of today, though, get out. Seriously, soak up this sunshine. Get a little vitamin D out there, and temperatures should reach the low 60s today. Record is 59. I think we'll surpass that with no problem. And winds are out of the south right now, only between 10 and 20, and they'll continue to calm down even further as we head throughout the afternoon. Beautiful afternoon to get out. Tonight, though, that's when things start to change. Winter storm watch in effect for overnight tonight for the FM area and northeastward, I should say, into areas of Lakes Country and into northwest Minnesota. That will be upgraded at some point, whether that be to a blizzard warning or a winter storm warning. We'll have to wait and see till about 4 o'clock this afternoon when the National Weather Service updates their forecast. But we will have blizzard or blizzard-like conditions for tomorrow morning. So whether we have a warning issued or not, we're going to have snow starting after about 3, 4 in the morning. Maybe a little later than that in the FM area, but generally right around that morning rush. And conditions throughout the morning rush will deteriorate with blizzard or blizzard-like conditions. North winds gusting up to 45. That just spells trouble throughout the day.
That's wildly inappropriate.
I just got to get to the airport.
I know. You might be delayed. Well, your flight is until 2 in the afternoon.
We'll be fine.
Conditions will, the snow shuts off by lunchtime. So it's out of here. It's pushing off to the east. We'll still have some wind with it. So we'll still have some blowing snow. But the worst part of this storm, between about 6 a.m. and noon. That'll be the worst time frame of it. And then conditions slowly improve as we head throughout the afternoon, as winds will go a little lighter by evening. But temperatures going nowhere. After 62 today, we'll drop to about 10 or so tonight. Stay there and fall tomorrow afternoon. And down and to about 5 to 10 below tomorrow night, assuming we get a thick enough snowpack, which looks like we should. And then stay in the 20s on Wednesday. And then by the end of the week, we're in the 40s to near 50.
But you said it might snow again on Sunday.
It might snow again on Sunday. Another system coming our way over the weekend, probably starting as rain, snow out to our west, where they could get hit with a pretty decent snowfall out to our west. So we'll keep a close eye on that. About 2 to 4 inches of snow here in the metro. But it looks like there could be a small band of heavier snow, about 4 to 6, maybe 7 inches, just to the north and west. Let's say from a Valley City to Hillsboro to Thief River line.
Nice.
That's close.
Why are all these snowstorms hitting when I'm ready for spring? Why couldn't they have hit like a month ago when I was like, come on, where the heck is the snow at?
Especially after a day like today. You're going
you
from
can't even enjoy today because you know tomorrow's crap.
Well,
You're whiny for a weather guy, aren't you?
Very whiny.
Consider today is your Sunday, and yeah, you never look forward to Mondays, so get out and enjoy your Sunday. Sunday. Get it? Get it?
I have a headache. We're done.
Oh, I even turned off the computer because it was so bad.
This is a group that has decided that the weather is not exactly what we were looking forward to today.
Just for a couple days, then
It'll be fine.
It'll warm back
it's
up.
nice
but-
for another couple.
Yeah, but then again, we'll watch that weekend storm. If you have any travel plans going west, you might want to keep up to date on the forecast going on.
Usually I'm the positive Polly, but it was such a nice weekend. I'm having a little trouble falling back on this.
Today's nicer than the weekend. Winds are light out there.
Finally. Did you hear him
Beautiful
roar
sun.
this morning? Whew.
Ooh,
Oh, I know.
Gusts
Yeah.
up to like 50 miles an hour.
That was a
Wasn't
little
that
insane.
something?
Yeah. I
And my
can't believe-
car was dancing on the interstate.
I can't believe you got here.
That's what Dean and Jay said.
It's everybody. He walks in the door this morning. It's like, wait, it's windy out. How did you make it down?
I got the canvas sail instead of the plastic one.
You seriously drive like a 90-year-old woman with a crock pot of
Safety
boiling
first.
soup on her
Safety
lap.
first, Dean. You got to be careful. All
He's,
right.
he's more than that.
How many tickets and crashes have you been in? Oh, yeah, that's right.
None.
We'll talk about this tomorrow when we're
Recently.
back at 1 to 2 o'clock in the afternoon. Jay Thomas Show is coming up next.